Yo guys, what's up? Solo Shotty talking here. I don't even know like what am I gonna do with this channel, but I have like a really interesting topic to talk about actually, which is the new Paul World Pokemon drama, like the fucking lawsuit going into the next fight. It's bro, it's a fucking fever dream. I'm not even kidding. It's like Nintendo announced that they are suing Palworld for copying their game, and then I think I've even read something along the lines like Nintendo wants to copyright owning monsters or taming monsters in a video game or something. And then Powerword was like, okay, we don't really give a fuck about that, or like, we are gonna get into the lawsuit. Pocket Pair overall, the developer behind Powerword and the publisher, I don't think they were really scared about the whole Game Freak Nintendo Pokemon situation going on. Rightfully so, because it's the same shit with the Sonic Racing game and Mario Kart World, right? So out of nowhere, the new fucking Sonic racing game completely annihilates Mario Kart World, and what was once like a fun sidekick, but not a competitor for Mario Kart World, is now like actually a threat because Nintendo gets lazy in price policy in terms of how they develop their things. Okay, the new Donkey Kong was completely amazing game, right? But like the price policy, that is too much, bro, especially with the amount of people that can't even afford rent or basic groceries or stuff like that. It's actually insane. If you ask me, I think it's actually insane. Then I watched the Nintendo Direct, I think a month or two ago, focused on Nintendo Switch 2 games. They announced some kind of Pokemon slash Animal Crossing slash Minecraft mix-up where you play as a Ditto that somehow became human. And well, actually, I remember my exact words when I saw this, and I thought, okay, this is actually a good idea. This is not some basic rip-off, because the how they managed to do the whole game, how you like cultivate your own plants or how you interact with the environment, this is actually very smart, because in a trailer you can see that this Ditto that you play, basically your own character, learns moves from other Pokemons and then like uses it to affect the terrain or to make shit grow and stuff. So this is actually, I think this is really creative. They could have been way more lazy with that. On the graphics and stuff, we don't have to talk about this. Of course, there's like room to improve, especially on the Switch 2. But I would say that's like it could have been much worse. In the midst of all of that, like in a whole lawsuit crossfire, Palworld just drops a fucking farm game that like is such a fucking slap directly at Nintendo's face. Like in the midst of the fucking lawsuit, in the midst of the fucking Nintendo copyright drama, the policy drama, the drama where Nintendo literally sues everything that's even remotely close to the games and franchises they own. Bro, this is like, this takes balls, a lot of balls, and I don't wanna like kiss Pocket Pair's ass for that, because I've read about some people that call this like a straight up copy. If you like think about the development time, even if they started this year, there's no way they could have known that like this Pokemon Topia Minecraft game was even in development, you know? That's like the thing. Maybe they got something intern going on, like they got a little whistleblower, but I don't think this is like actually their intention to like piss Game Freak off and piss Nintendo off. I don't think that's how this works. I just think it's like a crazy coincidence, which doesn't make this better. You feel me? This is I bet my fucking ass Nintendo Game Freak, they don't care about a fucking coincidence. They care about the similarities between the game, which is basically like the reason they actually want to sue them again, probably. And I don't think that this game is actually good for Pocket Pair as a company when it comes to the lawsuit and copycat allegations and stuff. I'm actually kind of curious to see how this will actually go on. I'm rooting for Pocket Pair by far, because the thing is, Nintendo needs competition, you know? They started doing their own thing with the Nintendo Switch, you know? They don't really compete as much in the console market as like Xbox and PlayStation, you know? I think they need some kind of competition, like some good competition. It actually makes them sweat. Because if you actually saw the last Pokemon games that were released and compared it to the quality and like the shows of Pokemon or the trading card game and stuff like that, is actually bro, it's not even, you can't make this shit up. It's legit, man. It's straight up legit. I just hope that like some companies, some games like bite into the market that Pokemon owns as one of the largest franchises in the world, and then gives Game Freak a bit of pressure to actually perform in games. No competition is always unhealthy. I mean, look at the fucking shit Apple is doing with their Macs and stuff, you know, with their fucking price policy. How this went upwards to like, oh, you got a new iPhone with charger and headphones, and now you get a new iPhone and I don't know, a dry dick in your ass. This is like, things go downhill if like the competition doesn't exist. You feel me, bro? I'm actually stoked to see how this will evolve, because right now this doesn't look too good for a smaller company like Pocket Pair, especially if you know Nintendo's history and Game Freak's history of like suing everything and everyone that like remotely interacts with their games and franchises in a different way than what they actually had in mind when it comes to interactions. See the whole Pokemon ROM hack division or stuff like that, you know? Actually, some people's lives are ruined by that because they owe Nintendo or Game Freak or the Pokemon Company money. They are like people that started this, I don't know, for fun, for love of the series, and then it's straight up ruined, you know? It's actually insane, man. So, besides that, I'm actually stoked to see where this will go, and I'm very excited to hear about this. Let's just hope this doesn't escalate and that Palworld and Pokemon can somehow coexist. This would be actually 10 out of 10. Alright, guys, see ya.